Hello Taurus, welcome to my channel, whether you're new or you're coming back. This is your tarot forecast for the month of February. Thank you for joining me today. This is a collective reading for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant. And also, so take what resonates for you. And if you're checking this video for your sun sign, don't forget to check out videos for your Moon and Ascendant placements. All right, let's dive right in. I'll start with an oracle card as always, and then with the tarot we're going to see what awaits you in love life, in work and career, and wow, that was quick. And what is the universal guidance for you. Also, we'll put some messages from a person of interest to yourself at the end, so stick around. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video. Yes, said it. Wow, set embrace. Number 45. Let me read about it. Like, very melancholic energy here. This is very much a Five of Cups energy. But it's there for you to kind of mourn and move on, you know? Loss is a part of life. Let go and allow time to heal you. You may be entering into a period where loss is a theme. Perhaps you're having to let go of a long-cherished dream. If so, take heart, for this ending may have been for your highest good. A better and more powerful dream will be realized in your life if you can accept the loss. Relationships based on faulty foundations are meant to end at this time. Disappointment is a form of perception. If your expectations weren't met, a sense of loss arises, along with sadness and grief. Express these emotions. Tears are like healing rain that can restore life to a parched inner landscape. Growth is always assured. Whatever the loss, however great it is, let go and experience your feelings so that you may soon see what beauty lies ahead. Yes, mourning is a very crucial part of healing and releasing, right? And whether we like it or not, as changes happen in our life, this is natural. And what I would just add, being a Taurus myself especially, that it's very important to acknowledge this. I don't really like to, generally as people, but I feel like Tauruses especially, we don't like to focus on these things. If you wish, to me, this is more of a death energy, and that's Scorpion, that's opposite to Taurus. Taurus is more about a kind of upbeat energy, about staying friendly, about keeping, like, you know, the structures and relationships that we know of, that we're used to, right? They prefer keeping them than shifting into something new, unknown, you know, and scary, essentially, right? So a lot of times when we do that, we're so focused on the new thing that we actually don't give ourselves permission, time, capacity to mourn the loss of the old. But it is pretty important. So just pay attention. If you took anything from this, just check yourself there. That if or when you're experiencing this loss, that you give yourself time to grieve. And I'll give you maybe a funny but a very real example. It happened with me in summer when I got back from Hawaii, and I realized that the girl that was looking after my plants did a terrible job. Like, terrible. I feel like pretty much if I just kept them somewhere without asking anybody to take care of them, they would be in pretty much the same condition. So half of my plants have died, and I especially felt bad about my orchid because it took me a lot of time and like nurture to get it to the state where it was. It was blooming, it was beautiful, and it still looked like it was alive when I got back. But essentially all the roots have died, so it was only like the leaves on top of it. And I was like, why is it like, it's weird? And like maybe 3 weeks in or 2 weeks in, I realized I just lifted it and it was just, it had no roots. It wasn't even rooted into anything. It was like a decoration on top of the pot. And of course I buried it, and I felt terrible. But you know what? Like at first I was like, I wasn't in shock, but I didn't grieve. And you know, it would be like, it's plants, right? Like you get another one. But I realized, and I stopped myself at that. And I was like, I feel so terrible about this. I feel so sad. I need to acknowledge that. I need to give myself permission. That's why I decided to bury it, right? I need to process my feelings on this and not just dismiss them because it's just not cool or whatever, right? And that's the example with plants. So supposedly, like, it's like no big deal, especially if you lead busy lives and you have a lot going on. Like, that's probably not on top of your list. But I realized it was important to me, and that's all that matters. You know how psychologists say that the actual factual truth isn't as important as your version of it, right? And that's why they ask you to express it, because that's what they're working with, that version that lives in you, right? That's the therapy, really. Okay, anyway, that was a long preview, but hopefully you got the point. Somebody needed to hear that. For your love life, we have 8 of Wands, love it, love it. Communication coming in, 3 of Cups, happiness, fun, party. 6 of Wands, victory, love it. And all minor arcana, meaning that's all in your hands, you and whoever the other person is. For your career, we have Knight of Wands, very passionate and fast movement, 10 of Coins, wow, and death. I was talking about death, so maybe that's the loss of an old job, of a colleague you used to work with, or some hopes and dreams that you had. I don't know, maybe you didn't get a raise or a promotion you were hoping for, right? And this is like that realization that you need to say, it's time to say goodbye to this job because it's just not gonna get you where you want it to. It's also a relationship, whether you want to call it that way or not. And the advice, the Strength card, Page of Swords, and High Priestess, beautiful. So in terms of other signs, we have Scorpio energy here, Leo, and Pisces. Scorpio, Leo, and Pisces. Bottom of the deck, 9 of Swords. Yeah, so that's also anxiety. That could be, do you see, like, it seems kind of, well, it's a little different, but kind of same vibe, right? To me, it could be that. So it could be feeling anxiety because of that loss or that big change you're going through. But, you know, like, look at this, sun is shining, there is happiness, there is victory. And I mean, seriously, love life looking like that, it's like, whoa. Yeah, so cheerful and a bit, and try to keep it fun as much as you can. Don't try to make plans that are too serious or too long-term at this point, right? You'll be getting communication on what makes sense, what is relevant right now, and stay in the moment. Celebrate the sun, the fun, you know, and what you've gained, right? Like, whether it's a new relationship or some, you know, you've been together for a while, this is a time to acknowledge how far you've come individually and together with a person if it's not new, right? Like, you've landed this person who you can feel so at ease with, you can easily communicate, you can have a lot of fun with. And I bet that was a journey on its own, right? Like, it didn't just happen overnight, right? You probably had to learn a lot of lessons relationship-wise before you got to this space. So that's already something to celebrate, and you'll have more opportunities. I'm getting, we have Valentine's Day in February, so why not, you know, kick up your skirt, have some fun. You know, adjust to whatever you would do as a man. I don't really know what the saying is for men, but you know what I mean. Okay, for your career, yeah, definitely some big changes, right? And yeah, if that job change or whatever, I already did a speech about the loss and the grieving process. So if that happens around your career or even around your hobby, because that's also this area, this part of the spread, give yourself permission and space to, you know, to have that mourning time, to have that sadness, to have a cry, right, about what could have been. That's fine. As long as you don't linger in it too much, that's fine, right? You're supposed to process it in a healthy way and release and get that relief, right? Because look what's coming in, right? It's movement, fast movement forward towards something exciting, something you're passionate about. At least setting your eyes, setting your vision towards something tangible and something that you're like wow, yes, I want to do this. Let's do it. Let's do it. I can't wait until we get started, right? And look at this reward, right? This is monetary compensation. Like, this is the reward for the job well done and even more. Whether it's your personal business or you're employed somewhere, this is a confirmation that your labor is now being rewarded, right? And your patience and whatever else you've been working on and you've been exercising. And last but not least, two major arcanas in the advice part. So this is for you to continue exercising your discernment and better judgment, right? Not to go with where emotions take you or where the circumstances immediately are kind of like pushing you to go into, right? But be curious, employ that kind of student mindset where you're like, okay, hang on, don't push me into that decision. Let me sleep on it, right? That's also strength, by the way. A lot of times, especially again for Taurus, I had a conversation with someone just this morning. They called me and they were trying to sell me on something, to sign a contract about some collaboration. And I could tell maybe like after 2 minutes that this person was a salesperson. And you know how they operate. Like, their target is to like bombard you with like information and, you know, sweet talk so that you sign the contract, so you commit within the same call. Like, that's the goal, right? It's pretty like, we used to call it back in the day in Ukraine when I was doing negotiations club, it was called like rough negotiation, right? Where you're not really, it's not that those kind of win-win partnerships, right? No, you're going into it knowing that you're going to use manipulation and pressure to get to where you want to be with that person. And that was exactly that. Maybe a little bit nicer, a little bit sugar-coated, but essentially, right? And I was like, I understand you want and they were like, oh, maybe you can commit to at least this, or maybe we can at least do that. I'm like, no, I've already explained my situation and I've explained my reasoning. I'm not going to commit to anything on the fly in this call. And they're like, oh, you know, like, that's also strength. And Tauruses are not confrontational, right? We like to make peace, to find those win-wins, right? And it's not always what we're supposed to do. So this is like that, like trying something new, especially in communication with this Page of Swords. And trusting your inner knowing. That's another big deal, big thing. Okay, let's get some messages for Taurus from their person of interest. What would their person like to tell them? Ace of Cups, Queen of Swords, and Nine of Swords. So they also have an anxiety. They see you as the Queen of Swords energy, I'm hearing. And to them, it's like they see that they cannot play you really, right? Like, you see through them. That's what I'm getting. And up to you, of course, to decide whether it's a red flag or a good sign. But with the Ace of Cups, I can see that they understand through this, like, it's, how to explain this? You're making them feel uneasy on certain levels in certain areas because of, like, you're like an X-ray. I'm getting this image that can see everything. So they know they cannot really play games or hide something because you'll know. But on the other hand, they understand how much they love you, or they are falling in love with you if this is something new, right? Like, this is something magical, something special. And every day they see more and more of this. And this month, I'm getting that they want to explore more of this potential. They want to put the anxiety back, put the fear back, and dive more into this space with you. I hope this was useful for you, Taurus. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon. Take care.